Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world.
It's time to leave the city of Cairns and head to Lizard Island, a famous spot in the Great Barrier Reef.
Bye bye, Noblies! Noblies, Yorkie's Knob!
Yorkie's Knob has been very nice, but we've had enough of the city for now, and we're ready for some less travelled and less populated places. We had to time our departure to coincide exactly with high tide, to avoid the shallow depths that we experienced coming into Yorkie's Knob. We've just left Yorkie's Knob. It was a bit of fun and games getting out of there, lots of shouting, because looks like they've moved some of the buoys and it doesn't correspond to our old track and the old positions of the buoys. But we made it through. We weren't less than like 2.5 meters, so it seems like the dredging is helping. And we're just on our way to Lizard Island now, which is about a day's sail, so we should be there tomorrow morning. It is daunting sailing through these reefs, so it's our first time. We'll do a night sail on the inside passage on the Great Barrier Reef, so we hope all goes well and that we arrive tomorrow in Lizard. These two channel markers are also not corresponding to Navionics. There's like a recommended line coming in on Navionics, and the line basically goes right through the marker. So yeah, not the easiest to get into these river mouths if you have a keel.
Realized that the person that fixed our sail actually put the new sunbrella cover over where our indicators are if it's a first or second reef. Now we can't see. Yeah, we're sticking to the inside shipping lane, so we have to jibe once or twice. The route does like zigzag a little bit, so we're probably gonna have to pole out the Genoa because we are going to turn and go dead downwind. It is nice and flat here, so the barrier reef protects you from the open ocean swell, and yeah, it's pretty calm. We have about 12 to 16 knots of true wind at the moment, and it's basically downwind. We're just using the Genoa because we don't want to go too fast. We want to be at Lizard Island tomorrow morning, not too early. We experienced a lot of traffic with the AIS alarm keeping us awake throughout the night.
The passage was very well marked, but the different lighthouses and moving navigational lights of the other vessels started to play tricks on our eyes.
We arrived at Lizard Island at like I think 8 o'clock in the morning, so a little bit faster. The wind was quite strong. The anchorage is quite windy. We were hoping for a bit more protection, but the holding so far is pretty good. We'll just check the anchor when we go past with the dinghy. We're about to launch Blasopi and go to the beach. So just go and look at the sign. Crocodiles inhabit this area. Attacks may cause injury or death. And we plan to snorkel here, and I just dove the anchor. Nice.
So this island, Lizard Island, is also home to our book is a bit old, so maybe the information is not as accurate anymore, but at one stage the most expensive resort in Australia. It's supposed to be a 6-star, but doesn't look like much when you look through the binoculars, but who knows what it looks like inside.
And it's named Lizard Island because there's a lot of monitor lizards here. And somebody in Cairns told us that there's a Komodo dragon on the island as well. So that's yet to be seen.
We walk across the island to the Blue Lagoon. Normally islands name a large, shallow place Blue Lagoon after the movie, but the place where the movie was actually filmed was Fiji. Australia is very strict with their biosecurity and are trying really hard to keep all pests unknown to the area out. Interestingly, you can't even take some fruit and veg from one territory or province over to the other.
This is the Blue Lagoon National Park. It's part of the Lizard Island National Park, so you can see the awesome Blue Lagoon. Unfortunately the sun isn't out full, but it's pretty nice. It's very clean, very natural, and yeah, Jackie's there at the bottom. Once back in the anchorage, it was well after 4 o'clock, almost time for sunset and a little bit overcast, so the visibility wasn't great. But wow, were we surprised at everything we saw. The giant clams being the star of the show. These giant clams can weigh up to 260 kilograms and get up to 1.4 meters in length. There's a stigma amongst divers that you should be very careful because they can snap close and trap you and you can drown. But this is actually not true, as they actually don't close fast at all. Today I'm tasting an Australian craft beer. It's from Source Brewery and it's called the Hazy Pale Ale. This one is done from a brewery in New South Wales, so a province that we haven't visited, but the can looked quite nice and the description as well. It's a 375ml bottle can, and if you return the can to some outlets or most recycle places, they give you 10 Aussie cents back for the can. This one costs 6 Aussie dollars in the shop, so quite expensive. That equates to about 80 rand. So beer is not cheap in Australia, especially craft beer. But yeah, let's see how this one tastes. It's supposed to be quite fruity and hoppy. It's got a really nice smell to it already.
Like what?
It's got a really fruity smell. Not a very hoppy taste, more fruity. And yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty light actually. Like they say, it's like a tropical summer taste almost. So not a very heavy beer. And if I had to rate this one, the cost is high and it's more of a summery type beer. It's not my type of style. I would rate this one a 5 out of 10. Cheers.
It's a bit of a wet ride, so I took the dinghy here in my bikini, and now we're getting dressed to go on the hike. As Gerard said, Cook's Look is the hike we're doing today. It's about 6 kilometers there and back is what we think we read, and we should be able to do it in about 3 hours, so we'll be back in time to hopefully have better visibility for a snorkel today.
We've just read here that Lizard Island used to be part of the mainland. So it was connected, and when the sea levels rose after the previous ice age, it became isolated. So yeah, that was quite far from mainland, quite a few kilometers. The Great Barrier Reef is about 2,300 kilometers along the Queensland coast, and it can actually be seen from the moon. One of the only natural formations, or few natural formations, that can be seen from the moon. Some areas of the Great Barrier Reef, there's a massive drop, like these so-called ribbon reefs that's close to Lizard Island. The reef is 20 meters deep, and then all of a sudden it drops to 2,000 meters deep, so almost like a cliff.
So we've been seeing all these spider webs with this, it looks like a stick in the middle, and I first thought maybe one just blew in there, but it looks like the spiders are actually rolling up a leaf and then putting their web around it and maybe staying in there. We don't really know, we're not experts, but most of the spider webs have these little sticks in the middle.
Captain Cook came through these reefs back when he did his exploration here, and he actually hit a reef just behind us. You can't see it, but it's just a few miles off, and his boat was grounded there for I think 24 hours or 23 hours, and they took on a lot of water. They pumped it out manually with their bilge pumps, after which they could float the boat again, and they managed to go into one of the rivers here to go and repair it, and it took a few months. And he came up to this hill on Lizard Island. He also named the island because he just saw lizards on it, but he tried to find a way out of the reef because they were kind of entrapped here. They felt they obviously had no charts and they could just go with what they were seeing. So he tried to spot a passage out of the reef, which he did. And that passage is now called Cook's Passage. They went through it though, and the swell in the open ocean against the reef causes massive surf, and it obviously creates a lot of turbulence in the sea. So he went out of the reef thinking that they would be safer there, but they dreaded that, and they didn't have a lot of wind, so the swell actually pushed them towards the reef. So they did end up going a bit north, but then they end up coming through into the reef again through another passage. So he ended up charting all these areas in quite a lot of detail in those days. So yeah, it's quite impressive. They sailed with absolutely no charts, and even sailed at night, just having a little piece of lead hanging off the bow of the ship where they check the depths, with a guy being on watch there 24/7.
That's crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment and subscribe. Join us next week as we continue north through the Great Barrier Reef to the Torres Strait and its crazy currents. Will we reach a new top speed? We are really grateful to our patrons who support the making of these videos monthly. If you'd like to join them, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description below. See you next week.